Hi, Lloyd Allen again as I continue the discussion on money. Module 4 or video number 4. Another thing, as I said, I'd like to continue this. Do not spend lavishly on perishable assets, depreciating assets. Rather, spend the bulk of your money on investment. Okay? So, live within your means. I want to emphasize that point. If it comes to the test, if it means reducing your lifestyle, reduce your lifestyle if you need to. Instead of buying a 4-bedroom house, buy a 3-bedroom house if that will suffice. A 3-car garage, buy a 2-car garage. But if needs be, reduce your lifestyle if that is what is needed for you to live within your means. But that's important. Do not live like the rich when you are just struggling to survive. Live within your means and teach your kids proper money management skills as well. For when they're thinking of just lavishly spending on things to impress and etc., they should more have a focus for the future and planning for the future. So remember this. Some people, for example, spend lavishly on expensive things and then they have huge expenses, huge bills. Remember this, friends, your peace of mind is more important than a lavish lifestyle. Alright? Please remember that. Your peace of mind is more important than a lavish lifestyle. Let me talk also on the subject of planning a budget. Planning a budget. That's important. It said that if we should be managing our money and not allowing our money to be managing us. But you see, if we fail to plan when it comes to money management, if we fail to plan, we plan to fail. So they said that before you make the transaction, before you make the transaction, do the math. Put it another way. Do the math before you do the transaction. It has to do with planning. And the Bible talks about that. Who will want to be building a house and not sit down and count the cost? Okay? Proper planning must precede spending. And especially when it comes to heavy spending. Spending on fundamental items. Okay? So, make your financial goals and move towards that. So please bear that in mind, all right? Do the math before you do the transaction. So remember now, friends, prepare a budget. That's important. Now, your first duty in preparing a budget is to the one who gives you the energy, the wherewithal, the wisdom, and the strength to earn in the first place. You could not earn without his strength. So you must feel a sense of accountability to God. He created you. Yes, he did. And so your first duty must be towards him. There's a passage of scripture in Malachi 3 and verse 10. And it says, "Bring ye all the tithe into the storehouse, that there may be meat in mine house, and prove me herewith, said the Lord of hosts, if I will not open you the windows of heaven and pour you down a blessing, that you shall not have room enough to receive it." That's an injunction. That's a statement of promise. This is what he says. First of all, what's a tithe? 1/10. 1/10 of our earning really belongs to God. Now, what's the promise? He says, prove me now, if I will not open you the windows of heaven and pour down a blessing. In other words, what God is saying, put me to the test. Test me in this. Return to me a faithful tithe and offering, Okay? And you will see if I will not come through on my words. Test me in this. So all of us should be aiming to put God to the test. Right? And return a faithful what? Tithe and offering to him. Now, let me just say something about this. Why should we tithe? Does God need money? Not at all. God does not need our money. The cattle upon 1,000 hills are his. We are only stewards here. You notice what happened when we die? We have to leave it. That means it did not really belong to us in the first place. We are only stewards. We are managing what he has loaned us. It's a loan. And he says, okay, to maintain a partnership with me, to establish your faithfulness, and to show that there's a partnership between us. Remember always to bring me, I claim this 1/10. Bring me that 1/10. That's what I claim. That's all I'm asking for. You can take 9/10 and do whatever, but give me 1/10. So number one, it's a matter of establishing a partnership with God. That's the purpose of the tithing system, right? Number one, we're establishing what? A partnership. Number two, it's to develop in us discipline. And remember, okay, that we have to give him 1/10 and so forth, you know, even with the budget. Just to remember that, it gives us a sense of discipline, that we have to relate to God. We can't just use our money as we see fit. Anyhow, we can't squander it on things that mentally, it's amazing how it changes our mentality regarding money. We have to put our money in a place where it is well spent, useful. We have to spend money judiciously, skillfully. So it helps to develop in us discipline. Number two, it helps to develop in us consistency. The tithing system is called systematic benevolence. That means you're giving on a consistent basis. Consistency. It helps also develop in us kindness. Systematic benevolence. Benevolent society. Benevolence, kindness, giving generously for worthy cause. It helps us to be, it develops in us a mindset of generosity and compassion and care, kindness. So the tithing system helps us, not so much God, it helps us. All right? So it establishes a partnership with God, helps us to develop discipline, it helps us to develop consistency, and not only that, it also helps us to develop unselfishness. When you can give money to God, for example, you got $1,000 or you earn $1,000, you give $100. But when you earn 10,000, you give 1,000. Wow. Then you realize some people sometimes have a difficulty giving 1,000 out of 10,000. But you know, it helps to develop in us unselfishness. And what I realize sometimes, if you can give freely to God, you'll give freely to your family. You'll take care of your children and your wife. It helps to rid us of selfishness. It eradicates selfishness from the root of our being. And it helps us to be generous. All right? So it reminds us that we are not owners, but we are only stewards of what is lent to us. When we die, we're going to leave it behind. The question is, how was your stewardship with the gifts that God blessed you with? So please bear that in mind as well. All right? Plan a budget. But the first thing in the budget is what? Is your duty to the one who gives you the energy and the strength and the wisdom to earn in the first place. All right? And then after that, you know, you plan your budget accordingly. All right? And you put the major expenses, the more compulsory expenses at the top. For example, the mortgage at the top. Utility bills at the top. Those must be given priority. All right? Because without those bills being paid, you don't want to end up under the tree, right, so to speak. So It's good to bear that in mind as well. I want to say something else on the subject of money, and as I talk to singles as well. Remember this, that, when you marry, there's a blessing in getting married. There's a blessing in marriage when it comes to money. Because did you know that those who are married are normally those who are more prosperous financially? Sometimes when a person is single, he has a habit or a tendency sometimes just to want to lavish his money and spend it recklessly. But when you're married, two minds come together and you streamline your funds a certain way, and you can attain greater financial prosperity. So marriage is a blessing. There's greater advantages to being married when it comes to money management, than being single. I just want to highlight that as well, especially for the single ones among us, right? Being married is better for your financial management and your financial prosperity than shacking up or cohabiting. Please remember that. Go forth, friends, and be a good stewards of the money with which God has blessed you. Take care of your family and give also to worthy cause. When you start to earn a lot of money too, don't forget the other organizations, even if you're not earning big money. But of course, remember also to give back to the world. Give back to others. For guess what? We cannot make it on our own. We benefit from the blessings of others too. So we must always have a mentality to give. And remember this, it is better, it is more blessed to give than to receive. Lloyd Allen at masterofrelationship.com. May you continue to enjoy and be blessed and be empowered with the course. Love you. Bye-bye.